Hello, everyone. Well, welcome back to Amper's Takeaways. So you probably see that it's a little bit different from our usual me in my room. I've got guests, I've got friends. Finally, so I'm not alone in this. But yeah, this is for me. This is the first. I'm hoping many sort of Amper Takeaway specials where we get leading experts to come in and sort of talk about their businesses, talk about how the business of film and TV, because the whole point of film and TV is a massive collaboration. There's a load of people to get a film done takes hundreds of people and businesses. So the more you're aware of the process and the businesses involved, I think the better. And that's what we're trying to do on Amper's Takeaways. We're trying to give filmmakers, producers, TV production people just the inside of the business side of it. So you can do your creative side, knowing that the business is there and you've got a little bit of knowledge of it all. So I'm really, really glad to have my good friends, Christine and Fiona from Smash. Um, let's start by you guys telling us a little bit about Smash UK and basically like why people need to know your platform.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the introduction. It is very nice to be here, and we are absolutely delighted to be your first guests.
Absolutely.
Christine and I are both producers, and we've been in business for a while. We've done all sorts of things. And we met doing a Creative England co-producers scheme, and we moaned about how difficult it is as a producer to find really good projects, and how hard it is as a content creator to get your projects in front of the right people. And it just seemed like there's a bit of a kind of break, there's a gap, it doesn't work properly. A lot of the same old people get commissioned to do things, and new voices don't often get a chance to come into the business. So we just had a moan, really. But
that's how that's
followed by a rant, and then we arrived in Manchester on the train. On the coming around in Manchester, we had an idea of what we would like to do to change the world. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we had the beginnings of My Smash Media, mm-hmm. which is really an IP marketplace. So we bring together the people with ideas and the people who need ideas. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's what we do. So Smash is a three-sided IP marketplace. We've got content creators and we've got what we call decision makers. So they could be producers, directors, financiers, distributors, sales agencies, commissioners, anybody looking for projects. And we try and connect them together. And then we have service providers. So at the moment, what we're providing is film sales estimates. And they're really useful tools for producers. So if you need your film sales estimates, you can come to the My Smash platform, and we can help collate your film sales estimates. We give you really trustworthy film sales estimates. As you know, these are really, really important.
Yeah.
You're going to go out and raise finance. People are going to say, "What's your project worth? You know, what's it worth in Korea? Do you know?"
No.
I know. Well, fortunately, we're working with Hilary Davis, and she's film sales expert, and she's been in the business for a long time. So she and her team create the film sales estimates.
And that came from pain as producers, trying to put a project together and then talking to investors who would go, what are your projections? And if they are angel investors, private equity investors, they are used to see those projections in any startup, any businesses. So they don't understand why, as a producer, you can't just make them up. But as Fiona say, I have no idea how much my project is going to make in South Korea. So it was kind of from there, and it became that insane conversation where, you know, you have to kind of say, I can't make them. And it's very difficult for me to find a sales agent who's going to come on board because it's a debut feature film, because they don't know. So that was kind of real...
that side of it is so important. The amount of times I've sat in this room here talking to producers, they've come with, I've got a £10 million budget on a project I'm doing, and then I go, so how much is it worth? Like, how much have you got? Any sales estimates? They don't have any. They don't know. And sometimes I think the danger and the heartache for them is, normally you can't get sales estimates unless the sales agent signs you up. So it's a
Absolutely.
bit of like a double-edged sword that they can't win there. And so they get to a situation where maybe they do manage to convince someone to invest in their film, and then they go to the sales agent, and then they finally get some sales estimate, and the film is not worth even half, and then people lose their money, and they don't come back, and then that's your career essentially done. It's such a difficult place.
It is, and it makes the whole business unsustainable because those investors won't come back in. And those investors have come in because they enjoy film, and if they could invest in something that was going to recoup, then the chances are they would carry on with those producers, and they would invest in other things. So it's a really important part of the business, and it's about, really, from our perspective, trying to empower creatives. So if you sit down with the sales agent and you know the value of your project, you're in a better position to negotiate.
Definitely. 100%.
That's the thing.
100%. That's the statement. Honestly, and that's it. I think as creatives and people who work within film and TV, that's something they really lack. And sometimes it's just confidence. They can go in and talk about their project because they worked on it 4 or 5 years and stuff like that. But then when it comes to the business and understanding the financial side of it, some just sort of like, you can just feel them going into their shell, and you think, you just don't feel confident. And I guess that's what Smash does. It gives you the confidence. Okay, this is how much it's worth. So you're not going to go and try and pitch at a different level if it's not really worth that amount. And it's just that sort of that confidence. I think is so important in the industry, and it's what we need really, especially now.
Absolutely, and it is very revealing. As a producer, I got film sales estimates for one of my projects, and I looked at that and I thought, okay, so the budget. There's a discrepancy here. I have to revisit the budget and kind of make the budget work in a different way, because it's not working at the moment. Nobody's going to invest. It doesn't make sense. So again, that's another thing that gives you confidence. You understand your budget inside out. You understand the value of your project. And then you have to go in and pitch it.
That's it. Going on to the pitching side, because that's another side I think I've seen grow incredibly over the last few years within the film and TV world, and the ability to be able to pitch. Like, for me, pitching's an art. I don't think anyone could just walk into a room and pitch the Dragon's Den style. It's a real art, and it's actually something I don't think the industry is completely comfortable with, especially some of the people coming in. I don't think they're aware that this is actually becoming a necessity. You need to know how to pitch. You need to know how to sell your project as a business, not just as a story. I know you guys have been up in Birmingham helping producers and filmmakers sort of pitch. So tell us a bit about that. Tell us a bit about what you see as a great pitch. Where people go wrong.
Okay, so one of the key things for My Smash is the pitching formats. So any content creator can come onto the platform. It's free to all content creators. They can come onto the platform and create a pitch for their project. And those pitches have been really carefully designed. So the formats, we're going to ask you questions about your logline, your synopsis, your cast list. You can create a mood board. We link to the Getty Image Library, and we give you free access to that library to create a really good mood board. There's going to be a lot of questions that the industry expects answers to. We're going to ask, your format, your creative team, your creative vision, all of those things. All of that information in your pitch document makes it easier for people to assess your project. It makes it harder for them to go, no, not interested in that. Because it's very easy if you just give somebody one line, a very small pitch, for them to go, no. Next. And that's what we want to avoid. So we want to, kind of make sure that they have the information, that it's very clear. So for example, say Christine is a producer and she wants to go to Netflix with a TV series. So she's looking for a TV series set in the Isle of Wight, 20-minute horrors aimed at 18-year-olds. So she could come to the Smash platform, and all of those horrors are on the Isle of Wight.
So many.
So many of them. She will be matched to those.
Okay.
So she can then look at them and assess them really easily. So for her, it's a much easier way of finding new projects. And for those content creators, it gives their projects a better opportunity to kind of get seen, because you know it's pretty not formulaic, but it's very structured.
Yeah.
So what we've been doing at Birmingham with the Birmingham Film and TV market is working with producers that have been selected to pitch to the industry there. So we worked with them for half a day, kind of on their pitching skills. And today we've been in flex producers on their pitching skills. So it's really difficult in this business. Everybody is pitching all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to. That's the way it is. You never know who you're going to be talking to. You have to have a good idea of your project. You have to have a very kind of succinct way of telling people what your project's about, with all the salient information. So that's what we've been doing. We've been working on those kind of classes.
Yeah, it's worth noting that if you're a writer, you'll have a different pitch, and you might skip the finance plan, the budget. You might not have any idea about that, or the cast. So depending on who you are, your pitch will be slightly different, and then you can bring people on, collaborators, to kind of add more information. So that's kind of really important to say. It's literally open to everyone. Yeah.
So writers, producers, whoever you are, even, and if you're even looking for a co-producer, I guess this is a Smart Smash is a perfect platform to go on and sort of get that. So, and I guess you trying to build up a kind of community that people just keep coming back, and people this is where what's the aim with My Smash at this present moment?
That is we would love to build up a community. At the moment, we're in beta stage, so the platform is small. We've focused on the content creators first, and now we're out raising finance to build out the decision maker side of the platform. So we do want to build a community. We want people to talk to each other. We want filmmakers to connect, because that's part and parcel of it, really.
Nice.
You can't work in isolation. You know, it's a collaborative industry. We all need to work together. So if we can connect people and bring teams together, then that's fantastic. That's what we'd like to do.
And what kind of feedback have you started to hear yesterday from the producers? What is the main bits that you feel like is your, in a way, your USP? What really you think draws people to the platform?
I think it's the excitement for a lot of people. If you're a decision maker, the opportunity to find something really interesting that you wouldn't normally find is what draws you to the platform. And for the content creator, I think it's the opportunity to connect. So not that I want to boast.
Go on.
However, something I feel the need to say. We had a really nice email earlier on today from a content creator saying this is a brilliant platform. And he's a young filmmaker, and it's kind of, it was just such a lovely thing to hear. And we've just connected, we've just matched a producer and a writer.
Okay.
So that's quite exciting. That's really hot off the press.
Yeah.
So we've not made that's not out there, this information, but that's a producer that's based in LA, writer that's based. So it's those kind of making those connections. But that's what we want, because they would not have met each other except through the Smash platform.
And that's it.
Yeah, and I would like to add, for the content creators, the IP protection.
Yeah,
that's really important.
But tell us a bit more about that, what you mean by the IP protection.
Yeah, so the IP protection.
That's it. Perfect partnership. You finished my sentence.
Who's in charge? So the IP protection is something that we are really, really hot on. Okay, because we're producers, and every producer has got a story about an nicked or this, that, and the other. And it was one of the most important things when we were on that train journey to Manchester. How do you protect your work? And so what we have done with Smash is when you create your pitch, you can choose to securely share and track it. So if you decide to share it, you can create a URL just for your project, and we give you a QR code, and you can share that QR. You can then invite a potential financier to come to the platform and view your project on the platform. That protects them. So they don't have to sign an NDA. They are viewing your project in a safe place. So that's good for them. And for you, as a content creator, there's a very, very clear space where you shared your work with them. So it just takes the ambiguity out of it.
Logged and registered.
It's logged and
So you
registered.
can see who's looked at it and stuff like that, and that information is just there for you to sort of use. So let's say, for example, I'm a decision maker.
Yeah.
And I'm just browsing. You know, I'm just looking around for different projects, and I click on one. Can then the producer know who sort of clicked on it, or get views of how many people have clicked on it or anything like that?
Well, at the moment,
Mhm.
no. But further down the line, that's what we
exactly
hope.
where
Yeah,
you're
that's
going.
what we're
Yeah.
raising money for, that side of the platform, to
Yeah.
that side of the platform. So at the moment, what will happen is that as a decision maker, I will sit down with the Smash Cupid
Mhm.
and tell them exactly what project I'm looking for, so that they have a really of exactly what I want, so that I'm not swamped.
Yeah.
And then the Smash Cupid will match up me to. So at the moment, the content creator can't see that the decision maker has looked at their project, but what they will get is the Smash Cupid getting in touch with them and saying, we think we've got somebody that will be interested in your project. Are you happy for us to share it? So the power always remains with the content creator. They can choose to create a pitch and then do nothing with it. And we can't see it. The Smash Cupid can't see it until they decide that they want to make it discoverable. Nobody can see it.
And so tell me, how long does it take from the moment I log in to the point in which it's basically ready for me to put out to the world? What is that sort of time? Because I know with some people, especially if it's not something you naturally good at or naturally can do, it can take them ages to get to a point where it's like, this is good. And how much do you guys help review it and give them sort of suggestions? How much does that from do that?
Well, there's an educational element to the plan. So if you don't know what a logline is, you know, we can tell you what a logline is. There's information the whole way through the pitch format. Any questions that you have. So that's a kind of that's a useful tool. And as for how long it takes, I don't know, because to be honest, we are out pitching My Smash Media at the moment. Our pitch changes on I was going to say hourly basis. It's constantly changing. And I think that's the thing with everybody's pitch. You're always going to update your pitch. Maybe somebody in your creative team has joined, and maybe there's a cast member that you think, you know, you've got a letter of intention from. So the whole time you're updating your pitch. It's not one of those things that you create and then it just sits there.
I mean, unless you've got already something that's already prepped and you've been sharing, you can copy paste.
Okay.
You know, and you can do the plan, the budget, etc. on that. But otherwise, it's completely from scratch.
Yeah,
it can take a little while. Yeah. But the good thing is, like Fiona mentioned, it really guides you through the whole journey. And it was really interesting. We had a few producers going, yeah, don't worry, you'll have it by tomorrow. It's just going to be a copy paste from their existing proposal. And strangely enough, we had an email the next day going, next week, because there were elements that they hadn't thought of, even though they have experience. Like, okay, I didn't realize that, you know, that would make sense. So it is quite interesting.
And equally, if you have, so for example, a cousin of mine has a really good game show format. She's based in Glasgow. She has nothing to do with film and TV, but she has this really good game show format. So she can come onto the platform and create a pitch for that. And she really just has a few lines about it, but we might be able to match her up to somebody that's looking for a game show format. In which case, she doesn't need a cast list. She doesn't need a budget. She doesn't need all of that. She just needs a really, really strong idea for that format. So she could come on and do. So it's up to you. You can either have an in-depth document, just have a smaller document. And whatever you create, when you choose to share it, there will not be, when I receive it, for I receive a project from you.
Oh, that's exciting.
Finally,
Yeah, that's
finally
it.
done it. Yeah, this thriller, he's been talking about for years. He sent it to me. So what is
Currently recording.
Yeah.
Fun times.
And then I open it. If you haven't filled out the budget, you haven't filled, none of that will appear. It will not say.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah. It's been lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be none of that. Just tell me what you want me to know.
Okay, that's really good. And I guess what that means is actually, because I was about to ask you next, when's the best time to jump on? Is it when you've got a cast or when you've got a director attached? But actually, you could just keep building it because you never know. At one point, it could be that someone at, say, for example, Amazon is just dying for a film about an accountant, and I've just written a film about an accountant, and then there's my moment, isn't it? So actually, because you do get that sometimes, and that's the problem, because you guys have probably seen way more than I have. But decks come in so many different forms, and it's so difficult to sometimes gauge. Like you know a bad deck when you see one. Like that's a fact. But actually, some of the good ones out there, they sort of sometimes get lost, and it's not until you go deep in there do you realize actually this is half decent. And I guess that's the problem, because there's not a standard format to it. People sometimes all over the place and don't actually get to the point.
Absolutely, and then that makes it really hard for the person that's receiving it to assess it. That's the thing, and we just want to make it easier for both sides. You know, to communicate. This is a really good idea. You need a really good idea. You know, that's the thing.
And we have a writer who kind of really loved the concept because he could just put all his ideas on one platform. So he created various decks, various stages, and just every time he was like, needed to update it or added in more information, it was just there. And it was just like one area as opposed to like Word docs here, there, and everywhere.
That's it. Or notepads. There's actually, because you do get some. I remember actually as something like in Birmingham and some other places, you get people who just have hundreds of ideas. They literally just have so many, and you just think to yourself, how do you even do that? But then it's all papers and stuff like that. Having this stuff like my Smash platform, it's right line. And then as things progress, maybe you add to it, maybe a decision maker likes it or something, and you just keep building until you finally actually just got something. Which is really, really cool, actually. And actually, what I really like about your platform, because I think when I first heard of it, and when we first started speaking, I guess a couple of years now, when we first started speaking about it, in my head, it was purely this. When you say decision maker, for me, it was like commissioner, producer. There was nothing else to it, and even that is valuable in itself. But the fact that it's more than that, it's producer to co-producer, writer to producer, stuff like that. Actually gives a new element of relationship into it, and it actually makes it like it is a sort of like a community family where people can just come and get their ideas done. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about the money. It's also about making sure you're working with the right people, and they're really difficult to find as well, aren't they?
Yeah, that's the thing, and also sometimes I think for a writer, it's a really good way for you to be able to share your vision of your idea early on. People can see your vision rather than, because it is a visual industry, so, but it's a nice way to connect people, and that's something that we had not, initially we had just thought like you, it's producers, commissioners. But it's so much broader than that. And that's exciting.
That is really exciting. It's really exciting. Actually, it has to have more value as well, because actually, when we go to the need within the industry to network is so intense. It's so like you need to be out there. Even as an accountant in the industry, if you're not out there, you're doing something wrong. You're just not going to get what you do, the work you want, or to meet the people you want. But actually, networking in itself is actually really difficult, and it's not for everyone. Some people, in a way, prefer to just maybe have a coffee and meet someone, or have a platform where they can go and connect with the people they want to meet. And also it cuts out all the my language bullshit. There's certain, if you don't need a DOP, you go to networking event and it's just DOPs there. It's a bit it's left my house for no reason. With this, you'll meet the people you want to meet. And how targeted is it? Do I go, I want to meet producer, financer, I don't know who else, director, or is it how? Yeah, talk to me about how targeted it can be.
So at the moment, with the content creators, you come onto the platform and you create your pin, and then the Smash Cupid will match you up if there is somebody on the platform looking for something similar to the project that you've done. And at the moment, we don't have a huge amount of decision makers because we're building out that side of it. And we've got early adopters who are working with us and testing that side of the platform for us. So, you know, as I know that you know, any marketplace focus on one person, focus on. So, as a content creator, you can you will make your project discoverable and shareable to whoever you want. So maybe you have put up this thriller that we've all been waiting for years. You know, and you're looking for a producer for it, but maybe you're looking for an executive producer for it. So you would invite Christine, who you found, to come and look at it on the platform. That's the thing. And maybe there is another executive producer on the platform who is a decision maker, looking for a project like you, then the Smash Cupid.
And currently we have calls for ideas. So if you go on our website and there's a section mentioning calls, or on our social media, if you've got a project that match that call, then you can just submit it via the platform, and then can potentially a match. Yeah.
Well, actually, and I'm just taking this from like an ESG point of view. We can get rid of these amount of booklets that people hold on paper, and actually they can just, here's the QR code to my deck, and then it'll take you to the MySpace platform, and then you know that's how you're viewing it. That's actually quite useful actually, because it is like, I don't even want to look in my bag at the moment, the amount of decks you got in there. But it's all paper, and actually the world is trying to move away from that anyway. So having that, the platform which is safe, protects your IP, you know, you're not going to put it on, I'm not going to name someone in case I get sued, and then all of a sudden and hackers go into it and stuff like that. This is a very secure platform, which is really interesting.
And it gives you more control.
That's it,
That's the key thing, really.
And that's what over the years they've lost. Is a massive amount of control over their IP, control over their projects themselves. It feels like, that's why I feel like some people feel trapped in a way, and they feel so precious about their projects, because at the moment it seems like everyone's trying to take it and they're left with nothing. So it's nice to have that.
And it's hard, you know, as a decision maker, you might think, they want me to sign an NDA before I'm not gonna, do you know what? I'm not going to sign it because I don't want to. I'm not even going to go down that path. And then that's a missed opportunity. That could be an amazing project. It could have turned round your career as a producer. It could have turned round your company. So we're trying to make it as frictionless and simple for people to connect.
The NDA thing I get through all the time, and I actually I don't like signing them, because it's like anything. Once you put your signature on it, even if like you've read through it and it seems all like great, seems to put your signature, it feels like, oh, I sold a bit of myself. Like it's horrible. And actually, when people talk to me about NDAs, in a way I sometimes shut off. So I'm like, I don't want to sign anything. You got to trust me to not go out there and make your project. Well, you can say trust me not to make your project, but there's not that trust in the industry, I don't feel. And I guess platforms, yet again, like MySpace, can add the trust back into the industry, add the trust from the investors' point of view and the financiers' point of view, that these projects have been checked and the sales estimates are legit, and there's the possibility of me recovering my money. From the producer's point of view, my IP is not going to get stolen or anything like that. And I guess from that sort of creators and writers' point of view, that they've got this platform that they can write all their ideas down and they sort of develop them in the way in which they can then move on to the next stage. So I think there's so many aspects to MySmash, and I'm really, really glad we got you on to speak about this, because it's exciting, because it's actually quite early days for you guys. So tell us a bit more about what you're trying to raise, the future for MySmash, and where you see this really going.
Well, we've got now over 1,000 users, so that's great. and they've been feeding back to us, which is really useful in terms of tech. So, you know, you have to think really, if you think about, I always think about it in terms of script. We're not a final draft yet.
Mhm.
You know, we're in kind of early drafts. And so we're really keen to have feedback from people, suggestions, ideas. What we would like to be within 3 years, you know, is the platform of choice for a whole new generation who want to protect their projects, want to protect their IP. And although we're starting in film and TV because that's our background, we'd like to go into games as well. Because there are lots of things in the games world. And we're out there raising money at the moment. And that's exciting and challenging in equal measure.
Life.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to be out there.
Yeah.
So the good thing about that is it really kind of focuses us on the content creators, because we're pitching our platform, they're pitching their projects. So we feel a real strong connection with them. So that's where we are. We're going on a trade mission. We've been invited by Investing Women, Scottish Enterprise, to join a trade mission in San Francisco at the end of this, which is great. We'll be in Los Angeles as well. So if there's anybody out there that wants to get in touch, it would be great. We're also finalists in the Innovation Award at the Makers and Shakers Award this year.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's a big deal for us. So yeah, all in all, Smash is going really well, and it's challenging, challenging and hectic.
And exciting.
And exciting.
Don't forget, the exciting, challenging, hectic. I don't sleep, but I'm excited.
I know. And it is really, it's a bit like filmmaking.
It sounds
Because
it.
it's about,
Sounds
it's
it.
like a project, and you've got this passion project, and you've got to get it off the ground, and you're really working for it. You know, and really good things happen, and it grows, and then there's a setback, and then, you know, it's exactly the same kind of journey.
The thing is, what I'm excited about it, my Smash, is that I genuinely, on my heart, believe it's something really needed in the industry for a number of reasons. I think at the moment, it is still quite hard for people to connect with the right people. And I know we've got things like PFM, Birmingham Film and TV Market. I know you've done something in York, and there's a few other things, but they're so infrequent. It's like you're there, and then you've got nothing for 3 more months.
Yeah.
And it's just like, then you have to keep on networking, but then it seems unnecessarily intense sometimes. So having a platform that allows you to sort of build the pitching, build your confidence, safeguard your IP, and have the sales agents out of it, I just think it's so needed. And hopefully, and like you said right at the beginning, it gives investors confidence.
Yeah.
And the more investors will have confidence, the more investors will come back to the industry, and the more projects that will get made.
Yeah.
Because there's too many people that have been burned.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely. You know, and we need to change that. But also at the end of the day, I think it's all about the audience. That's the thing. And it's so easy to forget about the audience. We're doing our film, we're doing this, that, and the other. Oh, who's going to watch it? Why are they going to watch it? And for those big companies, those big streamers, the audiences have become much more elusive. Lockdown has taught audiences, given them a lot of power. They can move around. They're very happy to subscribe here, ditch that, subscribe here, ditch that, move. And so that forces all of the streamers, broadcasters, to start connecting with new talent, new ideas. They have to bring in ideas that will work for their audience. Therefore, they have to comfort them. So that's what we're hoping for Smash next year. We're not hoping for that. We will make that happen. We need to give them comfort to connect with those ideas, because we are a very, very creative community here. We have an amazing amount of talent, and not all of it gets the opportunity to showcase. So we see that as, you know, kind of our job.
Yeah, that's a big job.
I know,
it's a big job. It's not a small job. And actually, I guess we can have an hour conversation just about that, actually, and how actually I didn't even register in me. Actually, that's get what you're helping with. You're helping bring in a new raft of emerging talent who just haven't at the moment got a voice.
Yeah.
They're story, they got stories, they're creative, but they just haven't got a voice, and they haven't got the platforms or the ways in which I just spoke about, the network.
Yeah.
They haven't got. They don't know where to even start.
Yeah.
So someone like My Smash is a brilliant way to start, isn't it? It's just, oh, put your idea, and just develop it. See what else is out there. Because if I was a producer, I just wanted to see what was out there. Can I just see what kind of projects you guys have got on there?
Yeah, you can come to Smash. You can get in touch with Christine and I,
Yeah.
and you can sit down with the Smash Cupid, and we can really find out the kind of projects that you'll match you up to those projects. So yeah.
So I know we haven't got loads of time left. I was going to go with this. Got no time left, but I've frozen. So if people wanted to contact you, where's the best place? Is it straight on the platform, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of it?
All of it.
All of it, yeah.
Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah, that's
you
it.
name
Contact
it.
house.
We're new on TikTok.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, so we'll put the details about My Smash
Fantastic.
in our bio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if people want to get in contact with you, and I'm sure there's so many out there who will want to, they can. Just so before we wrap up, it'll be nice. Traditions? It's not really tradition because you're the first, of course.
Yeah.
But this, I'm really keen that people, the independent market itself, it's not gone through its best time at the moment. I guess platforms like My Smash are there to help, and others. But I want you to tell me like an independent UK film you've watched recently that you'll recommend. And let's start a tradition here, and I'll go and watch them. And hopefully people who are listening will go and watch them. But yeah, name us a film you would recommend.
Okay, can I change that very, very
Of
slightly?
course you can.
Okay, because I'm about to watch the cut of a film that I think will be really, really exciting next year. It's called Diary of a Football. So I'm going to watch the latest cut, and we work very closely with the film. And so I am really excited about it. High hopes. It's a very kind of talented young filmmaker. Interesting idea. It's a mockumentary. So that's my big hope for next year.
Fair play, look out for that. So Diary of a Hooligan. A football hooligan. Diary of a football hooligan. Perfect.
Well, it's an old film actually, but what I thought was really interesting is the fact the idea is very old. It's the King's Speech.
Okay, yeah.
And it was the pain that they went through, but still made it after years. That it's not the only one. There's like a million out there, really. But I think it's quite aspirational to kind of go and watch an indie film that actually the idea, and there's another documentary last year, actually a series, which is Getting Away with Murders, and the filmmaker was literally working on this for years and decided to do it himself, and it did extremely well. And so films like that, I think, need support because it's aspirational. They ended up doing it out there, and it's a success. I think that's really.
Well, there you go. I want the King's Speech, and I think Bended Like Beckham's another one.
There's a load of
Yeah,
them.
but they're the films that sort of give the industry hope.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
they
It's
really are.
absolutely
Yeah.
hear that somebody else took 10 years to make that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh god, it's a hard life, but hopefully it'll be made a lot easier with platforms like with My Smash platform and with you guys and the passion you have to help. Because actually, what I've got from this is that the platform is just a way in which you can help as many people as possible. Like you've gone through the journey, you understand. It's not just a money making scheme for you guys, and just hopefully go on to change the way in which the industry in itself is performed and run, and give a new voice to a generation of producers.
Yeah.
So best of luck with it. I will definitely be watching the journey.
Thank you.
But I fully believe that this is just to start something quite special.
Well, thank you, Samuel. I can tell you more about it.
Yeah. When you've got millions and everyone's on your platform, they remember this was the first one of the takeaway. We'll come back, definitely bring it back. But yeah, cheers, guys, and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, cool.